Everybody, I hope you are doing well on this Thursday morning. This is Just for Sport with Jumoke on the Props Network. We're streaming live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. You can join the chat here as we get ready for the next hour of power. We got a lot to get to. I'm most excited because Hayley's back. Hayley's back. We have Hayley's comments coming up, and we're going to talk about MLB playoffs. Her trip around Japan, Justin, the benching of Dwayne Haskins, NBA bubble food. Why? Well, really, it's that show that's up Schitt's Creek, but sometimes I feel like this show is really going down a river in the wrong direction. We're trying. We're doing things. And yeah, how could we not talk about the fly on Pence's head? I got a hot take on that. But I'm also bringing on Joe Yasharoff. We go way back to our time in D.C. I'm giving props to him. He is an adjunct professor at the University of Maryland, teaching journalism. But you can see him on WJLA in Washington, D.C., on the sports talk show there. And he's been a sports executive before with NBC Sports Washington and Fox 5 in D.C. So we've got a lot to get to on the NBA playoffs. And yeah, we're going to talk about what's going on with the Washington football team. As I like to say, WTF with WFT. But I'm going to start the show with talking about something that, first of all, I got to apologize. The beginning of October was our last show, and I don't know how I didn't bring up this topic, that as long as I've been a sports fan, I've enjoyed sports. Let's face it, October is the best month in sports. If you don't know that, come on. I feel like everybody used to say, no, it's April. You know, it's really like baseball gets going and you got the Masters. Like, no, it's October. You've got the NFL tonight. We've got Bucks, Bears, Battlestar Galactica. You've got the NBA Finals, and I know it's because of a pandemic, but you got the NBA Finals, right? You got the Los Angeles Lakers against the Miami Heat tonight, and a possible elimination game tomorrow, or actually NBA Finals clinching winner for the Los Angeles Lakers, but I'm not writing off the Heat just yet. You got college football during a pandemic. Some people want it, some people don't. Some stadiums are too full and probably need to think about cutting back on the number of fans in there. But the bottom line is you got college football. You've got English Premier League, right? For all you soccer heads and for all of us watching right now, if you don't know, soccer is the most popular sport in the world, okay? Let's not fake it. I know you're unsure about whether you can be a soccer fan. You don't have to be. It's just the most popular sport in the world. That's the bottom line. So, you know, you've got MLB playoffs, right? You got the World Series that's going to be coming up soon. And my most hated team, the team I will hate forever, the Houston Astros. We'll get into them when we bring on Hayley for Hayley's comments. It's just, come on, how could you not think? You got the French Open. You've got some upsets. You got players that I've never even heard of. We got a qualifier in the women's semifinals in the French Open. We've got, well, I wish I could say we got the Masters in October too. We don't. That's in November. But, you know, you still got golf. You've got more sports than you know what to do with going on right now. Formula One, NASCAR is getting going. It's October. And it's beautiful. The leaves are changing. You can able to put on a nice fashionable coat and some cool pants. You know, you're not just wearing shorts and a t-shirt every day. October is just the best. Halloween's coming up if you're into that and all the decorations. But we're talking sports. And the other thing that I like about it is I am checking out BetMGM every day, waiting to see that I will actually be able to bet. Because, you know, if I haven't said it before, full disclosure, I can only bet right now with DraftKings, but I really like BetMGM. We can bet MGM in New Jersey and in other states, which is exciting, and I'm waiting for them to make it available to me, because what I love lately, what I am seeing is this new parlay builder feature. I love it. it's hard trying to figure out what bets I can do to parlay together to make a big 7-bet parlay. But BetMGM makes it so easy with this parlay builder. LeBron James and Jimmy Butler both to record 5+ assists. Duncan Robinson, Jay Crowder, and Tyler Hero all to record 2+ 3-pointers. LeBron James to score 30+ points in a Lakers win. I can just keep building and building and building. Duncan Robinson, Jay Crowder, and Tyler Hero all to record 3+ 3-pointers. If you want to triple down on the double down, there's just a lot that I'm excited about using it. And hopefully wherever you are, you can build it. Because after all, it's all about BetMGM right now. Are you betting on NFL, NBA this season? How about the French Open, as I talk about? Take some of that action to BetMGM. Why? Because for a limited time, BetMGM has a special signing bonus for the Props Network listeners. All you have to do is create a new account at BetMGM and use the code JustSport20 to get a 100% match on your first deposit up to $500. $500. Come on. That's right. Just enter code JustSport20 and get up to a $500 bonus bankroll. It's all yours. Then you'll enjoy all that BetMGM has to offer, like earning $10 free bets every week in the Money Monday Club, multi-sport parlay boosters. And hey, I mentioned a parlay booster, but this is my other favorite feature, the Edit My Bet feature that allows players to change their bet tickets after they are submitted. BetMGM Sportsbook is live for legal betting in Colorado, Indiana, Nevada. I can't keep driving back and forth to West Virginia or New Jersey to be able to bet on BetMGM. Come on, let's get it going. But try BetMGM with code JustSport20. So there you have it. I'm warmed up now. Okay, let's bring in Hayley Milon Bour. She's going to be joining us for what we know to be Hayley's Comments, which I look forward to every single Thursday. Excuse me, I don't know why I said Friday. Hi, Hayley. How are you doing?
What's going on? For me, it's almost Friday.
It is almost Friday, right? It's nighttime where you are.
Yeah.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Ohayou gozaimasu. Where's your sake?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I took that little trip and got some healing powers from the shrines in Japan, so I'm feeling very zen right now. I'm a little jealous I'm getting left out of your sesh with Joe. He's the man.
Joe is awesome. Oh yeah.
Oh, he's the best. I have a story about Joe. Can I share real quick?
Yes, please.
Just a personal story. It'll tickle your soul a little bit. I was an intern, like freshman, sophomore year, didn't know anything about the world, and I was interning at, then it was CSN Washington, and I got a call after work one night, and I was at my parents' house having dinner, and he said, "Hey Hayley, we need some extra hands at the Caps game," and Jumoke, it was just the most magical phone call I've ever gotten. I got to go to the Caps game as an intern. I got to carry around the cables, the XLR mic cords, like a little nerd. Oh, man, it was a big deal. It was a big deal. So Joe has a special place in my heart because he made that decision. And yeah, forever grateful. First game ever working at the Verizon Capital One Center.
Capital One Center.
I mean, it's like the stars aligned.
Yeah, he actually was the person that ended up getting me the job back in 2006. So really? Joe, yeah, he called me one day. I was watching football. Maybe I was driving to my brother's house to watch football, and he calls me on the phone and says, "Hey, I may have an opportunity for you. I think you'll be good for it." And he walked me through, "Hey, I'm going to introduce you to this guy by the name of Matt Williams, and you're going to interview to be one of the producers for the Washington Wizards and covering the team." And I mean, that was probably early September, and I started working there in October. And you
lost your mind, right?
I did. I was like, Joe is the best. So yeah, I'm glad you shared that story. That's awesome. Yeah. Would you care to share the other stories from Japan before we get started with Hayley's comments?
Oof, it's been something. Between my child almost losing his sight. He was looking like a pirate last week. I apologize for skipping out on our little standing Thursday morning date, but really threw me through the ringer. But the week before that, let me tell you, I had a spiritual awakening. Wow. I went to a place called Kyoto in Japan. me and a girlfriend who's happens to be another baseball wife with another team, and another American, just two American chicks going to Kyoto, where there are 2,000-year-old temples and healing powers in the waters, and we got to swim in the hot spring. I'm a new person.
You're a new person.
My body regenerated.
Wow.
Every cell regenerated. I am new. I am fresh. I am healed. 2020 isn't going to leave bad juju anymore on my body. It's gone. So.
The pictures and video were amazing. It looked like you were just enjoying yourselves. The colors were so vibrant. The places looked so peaceful. Meanwhile, Justin is like violently bashing a baseball with his bat.
I know. He's not zen. He doesn't have the zen. The ball players.
He's a big guy. You know, that's his job, is to just whack.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. There's nothing graceful about that man. Nothing he does is graceful. It's okay. It's okay. He's kind of the breadwinner, I guess you could say. So we'll give him that. But
wait, is that Chinese? The yin and the yang, right? So
I think you might be right. I think
you and Justin are the yin
yang.
and the yang, right?
Yes.
So you're evening him out.
Yes, I'll tell you what though. After baseball, no more being a big, non-graceful dude around the house. It's like an elephant in the china shop.
Okay, so where are we?
Well, we're going to start with some baseball. It's October, Jumoke. It's October, and you wouldn't have thought a couple months ago, but we have October baseball. It looks weird, but a lot of people are happy to have it back. Jumoke, the Astros, one of 4 teams left in the playoffs. Yep, we got to go there. The Astros are facing the A's. How 2020 would it be? They've got the 2-1 lead in the series. How 2020 would it be if they not only beat the A's, they went on to win it all?
I would be so disappointed. I am really upset, as I brought up 2 shows ago, that I am disappointed in Rob Manfred. Could you imagine any other commissioner giving immunity to the player so you could learn more about what they did in their cheating scandal? And you're going against right now, you're going up against the A's, who hate the Astros. I love the Billy Beane story. He's been there forever. I would love to not only see the A's maybe at least face the Dodgers in the World Series, but I want the Dodgers to win it. But the Astros cannot go any further. This story is awful. They're already playing in LA. The other team that hates them, but they're having to play the A's in LA because they have their little MLB bubble, but they're getting away with it. This is unfair. I wish that in LA they could pump boos, just crowd booing whenever the Astros come to bat. You know, it's not like the cardboard cutouts can boo. No, Hayley, you said you're having good juju after your trip to Kyoto. Let's not put the Astros in the World Series out into the universe. Let's say that the A's are going to come back, beat the Astros, put them away, and I can enjoy the players. Because, Hayley, I don't watch. I cannot watch the MLB playoffs until the Houston Astros are out. I watch Tampa Bay and the Yankees, but I see the ticker down there where they're talking about the Astros and they're bringing them up all the time. I want them to be gone so I can enjoy Major League Baseball playoffs.
Okay, I have an important question that there isn't much attention on right now because everyone's focused on the current playoffs, but I'm wondering, is the grace period that they're being given just by COVID right now, do you think it's going to come to an end next time fans are in the stadium? Like, let's say it's 2021 and you can pack a stadium. Fans aren't going to forget. I mean, fans are going to be bringing trash cans, bringing the signs, bringing the booze. I don't think they're going to get any less severe of treatment from fans on Twitter and in the stadiums if we just delay it a year.
No, and I hope that you're 100% right, because this should not be forgotten. I mean, could you imagine if, I know this is going way back, but I feel like to me, it's the only scandal that is above what the Houston Astros did, and that's Shoeless Joe Jackson, the Chicago White Sox. Could you imagine if the commissioner back then said, hey, we're giving you immunity. we
Yeah.
need to know, and it's funny that, we're doing this on the Props Network, but we need to know who was putting money down on the White Sox to lose here. We're going to give you immunity. We're going to let you keep playing. We're going to let you potentially be in the Hall of Fame because we're going to act as if this never happened so that we can get down to the bottom of what happened. No, the Astros were never punished. Right? They just simply were allowed to just skate from wearing mics and electronic devices that twitch them when they know a certain pitch is coming, and the trash cans, and watching, the clubhouse or the dugout being empty because the players are running into the tunnel so that they can see what's going on, and watching videos. Like, no, what they did, maybe even worse than what Shoeless Joe Jackson did, and they're able to skate.
100%.
I don't like it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
100%. For those pitchers to go out and guys know what they're going to throw, I mean, that takes away the entire strategy of the game. I mean, this game is centered on pitcher-batter matchups and these big stars, the aces, going and throwing their stuff. And if you know that, a guy, what his 4 pitches are, what his plus pitches are, but if you know what's coming, I mean, you're handing it to him on a silver platter. It's just, who was it that said you'd rather face a batter on steroids like 10 times over than face someone who knows what you're going to throw?
Ding, 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 ding.
Takes away the principle of the game. I mean, that's the excitement. You ask any hitter, and it's all about guessing what's coming next. It's a mental game in the batter's box, trying to figure out what that guy's going to deal you next, and you're taking away that component of the game. So I think the court of public opinion will continue to scorch the Astros. It's just a matter of pride that the Astros are going to possibly get a deep October run here and not have to face any of the backlash. It's so 2020. It's so 2020.
I'm so sad. But hopefully if the A's don't eliminate them, the only other thing that might be good, but then that means they got to the World Series, is to have Joe Kelly and the Dodgers play them, because I know that the Dodgers hate the Astros, and see if Joe Kelly will throw at them, even though, I mean, it's crazy. Joe Kelly got more punishment for throwing at the Astros early in the season than the Astros got for cheating their way to a World Series title. Like, this is crazy.
I will say I appreciate those punishments, just because if you were throwing at them, if you were beaming them, that's one thing. But throwing at someone's head is just like, absolutely not. Guys their careers can end. Justin's had teammates who were out for 80 plus games, getting their jaws wired shut because of it. It's just, that is so below the belt what he did. But I agree. I mean, cheating an entire season and winning in the playoffs.
In the eighth, behind, players are saying it was more than one season. It wasn't like they did it the year the Nationals won, then they did it the year they won the World Series, and the year before that. Like, they were just adding on to what they were doing because they weren't getting caught. And I still don't understand. If you hear someone banging on a trash can, how in the first time you heard that you weren't saying, what's going on here? We need to stop it. But they didn't.
Players across the league definitely knew something fishy was going on, but nonetheless, jury's out. We'll see. Hopefully they get eliminated and we can deal with it next year.
All right.
Let's talk some Washington football. We got to talk about them because they are just a recurring theme here on Just for Sport, aren't they? You and I spent a lot of time in Washington, and we just need to focus on that 3-ring circus over there. Dwayne Haskins. What a fall he has taken. He is now the number 3 QB. Ron Rivera said he had some issues adjusting to the offense, and there were signs kind of early on, but I don't know if anyone saw this headed into the season. And now we have Kyle Allen getting the start, and Alex Smith, he's one snap away from making a magical comeback. I can't imagine. I feel terrible for Haskins, Jumoke, and I'll let you share your opinion. I know you have some strong
please
go.
Tell me why you feel sorry for
Haskins. Yeah. I mean, that is just such a gut punch. I can't imagine in football where you have to wait for an entire week for the paradigm to possibly shift. It's not like baseball or basketball where you have, okay, tomorrow night I'm going out there and I'll maybe get a chance. But man, how amazing would that be if we got to see the Alex Smith story kind of complete itself.
Yeah. That part, it's tough because I do find that amazing to think what Alex Smith went through for him to come back on the field would be amazing. But that also means that the ridiculous thing of what's happening with this Washington football team, WTF, would mean that Kyle Allen has to either get injured or play poorly. I mean, that the only way Alex Smith is coming back is if one of those two things happen. And I find it crazy that to think of all of the superlatives and like the glowing things that Ron Rivera was saying about Haskins, even Ron Rivera's daughter, you know, being a member of the social media team with the Washington football team and like following Haskins and saying, I love what I'm seeing, all of the positive reinforcements and he's being a leader and blah, blah, blah. Let's go over a few things here, okay? Dwayne Haskins and the Washington football team beat Kyle Allen and the Panthers with Ron Rivera as the head coach of the Panthers in 2019. Let's start there. So we've already got one knock on Kyle Allen, okay? Dwayne Haskins has played for 3 head coaches in 13 games as the Washington football team quarterback. Like, come on, he has no consistency. He has a better QB rating than Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, okay? The quote from Ron Rivera, we're better off putting the ball in hands of someone that knows our system. Now, we both work for teams, right? We both work for a team. We know that you got to do the PR spin, and they're like, oh, Kyle Allen's coming in. He knows the system. He won the first 4 games as a Carolina Panther when he first came in. Yeah, you know what the press release didn't say? He lost the last 6 of 7 games in that same system. Come on, what are you talking about? Stop acting like this guy is the greatest thing since sliced bread. He lost 6 of his last 7.
That is the
in the same system
analyst there. You
with
pick
Christian
apart.
McCaffrey as an all-star, all-pro running back. What do we have in a bad division? There's no one on offense outside of Terry McLaurin who is really talented, and you can say he could maybe be an upper echelon skill position player. Washington has nothing. You are looking at a division with no winning teams. So you think, oh my gosh, we can win. Quick. Forget Dwayne Haskins. Throw in Kyle Allen. We're going to win this division. No, you're not. And if you do, it's going to be at 7-9. The only thing that would be positive is if we can somehow get this wonderful story of Alex Smith coming back. That's the only thing. There's a lot of pressure right now on Ron Rivera, Kyle Allen. Okay, not only do they have to win, but you're going to blame everything on the quarterback when the last 3 games you've given up 30-plus points per game. That's on defense. That's on defense. Dwayne Haskins isn't playing defense. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to tell you, okay? Ron Rivera quote, the one thing that a lot of people don't see is the frustration of other players. I look at that. I see that. I feel that. The guys that want to win. Right now, where Haskins' development is our best shot to win is with guys who have been in the system. Well, let me tell you something about your system. I'm hoping that above you, Daniel Snyder's looking at your system, and the pressure that you put on Dwayne Haskins, the pressure that you put on him to say he's not a winning quarterback, even though he has a win versus a division rival in the Philadelphia Eagles, the team does. I hope that the man above, Daniel Snyder, is looking down on Rivera and saying, okay, yeah. I've got some pressure on you to win right now, or we've got to make a change. I'm out. I should send the show right now. Oh, my gosh. I got it all out, Hayley.
Anxiety. You released it all. You're healed. You have my zen now.
I am.
Are you good? Can we move on to some poop? Feeling better?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Next topic.
NBA Finals. Maybe this is a more soothing topic for you. Jimmy Butler versus Anthony Davis. What are you getting out of that matchup?
I am impressed with how the Lakers are finding different ways to win. That they haven't known some of these win, but that they're able to change how they play. You look at game 1, it was Anthony Davis. Game 2, it was LeBron James. and I shouldn't say it's all one player. That's unfair, but I feel like that top player, the player who really put them over the top, or who propelled them to a win. Game 3, Jimmy Butler was amazing. But I think when I look at Game 4, looking back on Game 3, and Joel and I talked about how, well, they didn't give the ball enough to Anthony Davis. But then when you look at Game 4, and it was really about Anthony Davis's defense on Jimmy Butler in the Miami Heat, and the bench of the Lakers stepping up in the way they had never done before. So when I look at that matchup, in many ways, it is a defense. It's the defense of Anthony Davis that helped propel them to a win and have them one game away from the Lakers clinching their 17th NBA title. I think that Jimmy Butler has more dog in him. He is, I think he showed he's got that. Maybe a little bit more than LeBron James. Obviously, LeBron James, you can't argue that I'm not trying to say Jimmy Butler's better than LeBron James, but right. I think there is a way that Jimmy Butler willed his team to win Game 3 that LeBron James didn't really need that as much as so famously talk about with Game 4. All he needed to do was tweet to his team, hey, we got to play better. I need everybody to step up. And in Game 4, all of a sudden, you got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope hitting big threes. You got Alex Caruso playing well. It was more of a team effort in Game 4, especially with Bam Adebayo coming back and you thinking he's going to give the Heat, some oomph. It's amazing. LeBron James did it with Twitter. With a text. And now here we are, one game away. And in Game 5, I don't see the Heat winning because the Lakers are going to wear those Mamba jerseys. Michael Lee, shout out to Michael Lee. He doesn't like that people, and myself included, and the Lakers are saying, oh, we're doing this for Kobe. It's sacrilegious. Kobe doesn't belong to the Lakers, but they're going to wear that Mamba jersey, and they're going to hoist that Larry O'Brien trophy.
All right, so the two teams that absolutely thrived in the bubble, the NBA bubble. Jumoke, we're going to talk about life in the NBA bubble because it was such a punchline when the restart began. But now, from the outside looking in, it looks like a pretty sweet life. Now, I think BuzzFeed did a little feature on a woman, a chef, who is cooking for the bubble. She cooks over 4,000 meals a week. And you remember seeing on social media, like some of the players were tweeting out pictures of the bubble food, and it looked just absolutely terrible. It looked like airport food or, something you'd get from Panera on a tray. Well, this stuff looks so dang good. She does like hot wings and that kind of thing. It's a lot of Southern and like Caribbean food. Anyway, her name is Alexia Grant. And she runs the kitchen that somehow got shut down during the COVID lockdown in Florida. And now she's the only chef who isn't with a team. She's not the Wizard chef. She's not the Lakers chef. Right. She's the only restaurant chef that's in the bubble. And her team are making meals. And the process is insane. She's not allowed to intersect with the NBA bubble whatsoever. The chefs and staff need to be in their own even safer bubble because they're dealing with the food here. Jumoke, those wings, they look delish. I want to know, how would you thrive in the bubble?
I would definitely thrive in the bubble. Yeah. I think that outside of when you go to a hotel, the prices are kind of astronomical for a cup of orange juice and maybe some oatmeal for $5 and juice for a cup of juice for $4.
For LeBron.
I've always for LeBron. I know, right? It's really sad. It's really sad. The thing for me, I've always loved being in hotels. I feel like there's a mental thing that's like it's a vacation. You're getting out. Imagine if every day you could just get up and leave your bedroom and go do whatever you're going to do, and you come back and your bed is freshly made. You have new linens every day. Yeah. How can you not be happy about that? That's as close as you can get to Michael Jordan always wearing fresh shoes every basketball game. It's wow, My room is like a new room every single day. Like, that's magical. So when you think about a chef who is like just going to town and trying to be creative and impress these players who are used to 5-star meals, and now they're getting hotel food every single breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That can't be easy, but it's amazing that she's getting it done. My hope here is that, one, she's going to do a cookbook and all of the NBA players are going to promote it and talk about all these little dishes that she's made. Maybe she's going to get a show out of this. That would be great if all of a sudden now she's got some TV show about how to cook massive meals. Maybe she can go on a military tour and teach those chefs how to make really good food quickly on a budget, whatever the case may be. But the beauty of what she's done, that I hope that for any NBA player that is listening and paying attention to what Russell Westbrook did, which I'm throwing you for a loop here. I don't know if you saw this. He gave a $8,000 tip, $8,000 tip to the staff that worked in his room.
I don't think I saw that.
Okay. My hope is that every NBA player will give a big tip to this chef, that she'll walk away with like $1 million just from them, giving their money to someone who's giving of her time and life. Hayley, she's probably been in the bubble like 120 days because she probably was there before they got there. And she's not going to leave probably until a day or two after they leave, maybe making food still for the NBA staff that's there, that's breaking down all of the courts and, sending out all of the equipment. The game for her, or the work for her, is not going to be done when the game's in probably tomorrow night. So that's my hope. That she's going to be a millionaire by the time she's done, and her name she's going to be a star. That's what she's going to be, as a star.
It's a different kind of crowdfunding. I'm going to tell you what. No one really knows about this, but when teams always stay at the same hotels, this obviously isn't the bubble, but going back to the tipping and the staff, teams always stay at the same hotels. The staff remembers who the good guests are, what players are messy, what players leave their room service tray on the bed, what players leave a crisp bill on the nightstand. Oh yeah. I remember staying in New York, and Justin was playing the Mets, and I was talking to one of the staff on the maid service, and she was rattling off all the players on the Marlins roster. Like, oh, I love so-and-so. He always treats me so well. You're there a couple times a year for like 5 years, and you get to know the staff. So you gotta have a good reputation. I mean, you don't want people in New York just thinking like so-and-so's a slob and leaves his stuff everywhere and slaughters all of his. Yeah. It's a thing.
That's
so
pretty
good
cool.
on him. But taking care of his staff, I mean, that's a sweet bounce for those people. But no doubt they deserve it, because it's a tough life taking care of people during COVID.
Especially, like, I feel like every day it's a Groundhog Day, but you have to be at your best. You have to be at your best every day, no matter what your situation is at home. If you've even been able to go home during, this bubble, like, it's amazing. That's amazing. And I love that story from you. Justin was with the Marlins. Is he rooting for the Marlins in the MLB playoffs, right? They're still in it.
Yeah, so he has friends scattered all over the place, but
that's true too.
You still you want the best for the Marlins fans, and that's home, He was there for so long. So I think we're both like, Yeah, but
they're down 2-0
to
the Braves, but I guess you never know, right?
Yeah, we want good baseball, right?
It can happen.
It can.
Okay.
Good on Jeter.
Yeah.
Transitioning, we're going to keep talking about hotels here, Jumoke. It's your lucky day. You love hotels? Well, here we go.
I do.
Did you follow Schitt's Creek at all?
So I have never gotten into the show. The pilot, I was like, And so I'm on
Yeah.
episode 2. That's it. That's it so far.
Oh man, you got it.
You
You got
love
to
it?
push through. Joe can encourage you. Joe tweets about it. I'm
Okay.
a fan. I'm a fan, and especially right now during COVID, when the world is so bleak, you need some dumb humor. And let me tell you, the Canadians have mastered the art of dumb humor, but carrying along a plot for 6 seasons, brilliant. But so that hotel, it's based on this hotel motel off the side of the road in rural Canada somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes the Rosebud Motel. Okay, it's a real place in Canada, and it's got some NBA ties. Well, Canadian basketball ties, we'll say. All right, so Jamal Murray, actually, when he was playing youth basketball, he would play at the court outside of that motel that they used for Schitt's Creek. And it was such a rundown court that, like, they would do a trick shot where they would shoot the ball off the roof. And I'm trying to figure this out. They would shoot it off the roof. You need to watch the show, because they show so many scenics of this motel.
Yeah.
It's like a very flat roof, and try and get it to bounce off and into the hoop. Just a little black top right there off the side of the roadside motel. But how about that?
It's like
How
Dude
about
Perfect, right? You know, they make all these trick shots. Cool. Now the more people are going to be, they have to be going there to like take
Yeah.
pictures of the
Yeah, they
motel
are.
and take mementos from the hotel. When you sent me that story, I remember for 3 days, I kept seeing on Twitter that it was trending Schitt's Creek and Jamal Murray
Yeah.
connection. And I was just like, what? But I would never click on it until you sent the rundown. And I was like, what is going on? That's crazy to think
Yeah.
that that's where he started playing basketball in high school. And now he's really a budding superstar, the way he played in the bubble in the NBA playoffs. Thon Maker also played
Yep.
there as well. He plays for the
Kyle
Detroit
Alexander.
Pistons. Yeah, on the Miami Heat. Like, it's crazy. And that's awesome. And now it makes me want to watch Schitt's Creek even more.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have to. You have to. It'll cheer you up, and it's a good little break from sports as well.
So how many episodes in am I going to enjoy it? Because this first episode, I was just like, what
You
is
need to
this?
push through. You need to push through the first maybe 3 episodes, but they're short. They're short,
Okay.
and they're tolerable. So stick with it. You'll thank me, okay?
Okay.
You'll thank
Okay.
me. But yeah, pretty cool. And you'll have to let me know if you spot the basketball court there.
Okay.
All right. The most famous insect in U.S. history.
This was
Okay.
awesome.
The most famous insect. I'm calling it right now. We're not going to talk about politics. We're not going to talk about the contents of the debate, the vice presidential debate from last night, because no doubt that is all anyone is going to see on the internet today. Although we do have a lot of sports going on. But the meme power from that debate was unbelievable, because a fly landed on Mike Pence's head. And Jumoke, could we have gotten luckier? I don't know why the fly was attracted to his head. Maybe he had a lot of product in his hair. Maybe, people are making a lot of parallels there, drawing parallels between Mike Pence and other things that flies are attracted to. Could we have gotten luckier with the meme fodder that we've been handed on a silver platter?
I don't think there was anything more ridiculous about that debate that put it over the top from the actual presidential debate than that fly. The one thing I am most sad about is the fly has more Twitter followers than I do in one night. This morning, there's a
He's an agent,
Pence Fly account that has over 100,000 followers. That's ridiculous and amazing at the same time. Yes, it's the Pence Fly. I cannot believe that account exists. Like you say, you go down a wormhole. I'm looking at all of these tweets, and there was a Jordan cry meme where they put the Jordan face over the fly. People want Jeff Goldblum to play the fly on SNL. My favorite, though, was a tweet that said, The fly is Pence's only black friend. I was just like, oh my
I wasn't
God.
going to go there, Jumoke. I wanted to leave that up to you to say. I saw that one.
I was like, I cannot. Like, this is too much. And you know he's at home flipping out. When they told him that a fly was on his head, and his wife, not wearing a mask, by the way, after the vice presidential debate, when she walked up on the stage, I bet the first thing she said was, "You had a fly on your head. Everybody's making fun of you." He's got to be flipping out. It's hilarious, Hayley.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's the content we deserve, though, right now. And that fly has an agent. You know, he's living Hollywood life. He's getting promos on his Instagram. He's on TikTok.
What I didn't see, and maybe I missed it, and we're not getting into politics. We're not saying Democrat, Republican, or whatever. But remember when Obama, first of all, the fact that Biden immediately put out he had a fly swatter in a picture was funny. But you know what else I thought about? Was the controversy when Obama killed the fly with the chopsticks. Like, maybe this is that fly that got away. The fly was like, haha, I'm not dead. See, I'm on Pence now. Hey.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be the new American political symbol.
Oh yeah. And I do hope SNL finds a way to do it with Jeff Goldblum, MrApartments.com.
The weirdest note we've ever left this show on. But I'm so
glad. But it was just so, I just couldn't believe. I mean, like, it was almost like Twitter was bored last night. Like, there was nothing going on. The debate was happening. Major League Baseball, okay, Tampa Bay Rays, because like I said, I was watching. They're beating the New York Yankees 8-4. Then all of a sudden was like, fly opens his hand, boom, and then the internet just blew up. It was great. It was great.
Pretty fortunate.
Yeah.
Pretty fortunate.
Yeah. This was fun, Hayley.
Thanks, Jumoke.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
You enjoy your time off this week. Say hello to Justin for me. Enjoy the baseball, and we'll see you next week.
Say hi to Joe for me, please.
I will.
Enjoy.
I will.
Tell him that little anecdote.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Right. See you. Thanks.
Wow, what an episode of Hayley's comments. It was epic. I know I went off on Dwayne Haskins there. I couldn't help it. Hayley got my blood boiling there thinking about the Washington football team. But we had some fun. I enjoy the NBA bubble food talk, and that is something that I did want to bring up, that Russell Westbrook. Wow, what a tip for the staff there. You just can't beat that. I hope you've been enjoying the show here. Just for Sport in the Morning will be on every Thursdays at 9 o'clock. We'll be streaming live on the Props Network Twitch account and YouTube and Facebook, and we have a lot of great topics that I hope you'll enjoy. And over time, as we grow together, you'll join the chat as well as we talk about a lot of what's going on in sports. But speaking of the Props Network, okay, people, it's time to have a serious conversation about your bookies and illegal offshore betting sites. You can get rid of them now. Cut ties. Let's move on. Move into where we are in the 21st century. Now we can all bet. It's okay. You don't have to feel ashamed. You don't have to have the little secret phone call. You're not going to get a knock on your door. Hey, you owe me money. It's all out there. We can all do it. Legal sports books have a better user experience, more promos, bigger signing bonuses, and you know that your money is safe. I can go to DraftKings right now and see that I'm up. I am up on my sports book, and I'm up on my daily fantasy too. I got money. I could cash out right now. I'm in the black, so to speak. Where do you find legal sportsbook in your state? That's where the Props Network comes in, right? Go to propsnetwork.com. The Props Network only ranks regulated U.S. sports books, and it's also where you'll find the best available bonuses. So start using them today. Plus, you'll get great content from media pros like me. We're going to be bringing on Just for Sport, Joe Yasharoff here in a minute. He's going to rap Wapsodic about the Washington football team and the NBA playoffs. So when legal betting comes to your state, make sure your first stop is the propsnetwork.com. Remember, you got to be 21 or over to bet. And do you or someone you know have a problem with gambling, make sure you call 1-800-GAMBLER today. Okay, so it is my pleasure to bring in one of the, as Hayley and I talked about, Joe Yasharoff has a special place in our hearts. He has been an integral part of sports, in my mind, in DC over the last, 15 years. As long as I have known him, it has been a pleasure of mine to know him and to be able to not only have Joe as he's a mentor. He's a mentor of mine. And I can't say enough about what Joe has meant to my career. And now he's an adjunct professor teaching journalism at the University of Maryland. You can see him on ABC7, WJLA. It's my guy, Joe Yasharoff. How are you doing, sir?
Jumoke, I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for the kind words. You know how I feel about you, so I'm so glad enjoying watching your stuff and enjoying your success.
Joe, you catapulted me to the heights, to the top of the food chain, so to speak, at Monumental Sports and Entertainment, overseeing all of the Wizards content, doing the pregame show with Hayley, and I enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm enjoying this new endeavor on the Props Network. Thank you very much for coming on Just for Sport. How are you doing with DC sports right now?
Well, there's really nothing going on. Yesterday, nothing exciting, so it's kind of boring. And the Caps are about to sign a Hall of Fame goaltender on Friday, so nothing going on, same old, same old.
Same old, same old. And speaking of same old, let's roll right into it because the Washington football team, it seems to be same old right now. What are your thoughts on Dwayne Haskins losing his starting position, Kyle Allen stepping up into that starting role?
Well, there's so many ways to answer that question. The first reaction is shock. The second one is it's not a shock because it's the Washington football team, so crazy things happen all the time. Now, there were hints and more than hints from Rivera the last couple of weeks, so that part of it wasn't completely stunning. Mm-hmm. The stunning part is, of course, that he goes from starting quarterback to third string, and that Alex Smith, who almost lost his leg, who may have lost his life with that horrible leg injury, is now the backup quarterback. So talk about just layers and layers of drama and melodrama. I mean, it's stunning. I mean, he was the first-round pick, and now he's the third stringer, so stunning.
And it's stunning to think he's the third string, and I just want to say a couple of things and let me know if I'm way off. Mm-hmm. And I know you're going to set me straight. Mm-hmm. It's a small thing, but the fact that Dwayne Haskins beat Kyle Allen and Ron Rivera in Carolina last year, I'm just like, okay, at least head-to-head, Dwayne Haskins and the Washington football team beat Carolina. Dwayne Haskins has played for 3 head coaches in 13 games. I don't know how you can expect any kind of consistency out of him with that. He has a better QB rating than Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. I just feel like where we are when the defense has given up 30-plus points per game the last 3 games, how can you now just put this on the foot of Dwayne Haskins and say he's the problem?
Well, on the one hand, by doing that, you are saying that he's the problem. Rivera gave a bunch of reasons that if the division looked a little different, that he wouldn't be doing this. Mm-hmm. He also talked about something important, that his players were frustrated. Is that I have no reason to believe he's not telling the truth on that. So if, as a head coach, you see that you have to get the temperature of the room, and if teammates are saying, "Oh, this guy is the reason why we're not winning games," then you have to at least listen to it. Maybe not react right away, but listen to it. What's confusing to me is Rivera has done a horrible job of using timeouts in at least 2 of the games, suggesting that he's not trying to win the game. So if you're not trying to win the game by using your timeouts judiciously and strategically, and again, what do I know? I haven't played NFL and I haven't coached NFL, but still watched a few games. And now you're saying that Haskins is the reason that they're not winning games, and now we want to win games because the division is so bad and you're in the race. So there's some mixed messaging there. But the head coach, he's the head coach, and if there was any doubt as to who is in charge with that organization, now we know there is none, because as we know, Snyder played a big role in drafting Haskins, and that's not Rivera's guy. But your point is well taken, that you're not set up for success when you play for that many coaches, that many offensive coordinators. So it's not Haskins' fault, but he's the quarterback, and the coach decided, we got to make a change. So here we go again.
Mm-hmm. And I hope that maybe also, if the players were feeling like, hey, Dwayne Haskins is a problem, that maybe some of it is personality, because Kyle Allen, he won his first 4 games, but he lost 6 of his last 7 in Carolina. Like, come on, it's not like this guy is a winner.
No. He is not Tom Brady. He will not be, mistaken for Tom Brady in any way, shape, or form. But as we know, coaches feel comfortable, whatever that means, with people that they've worked with. Just like outside of sports, people hire people that they used to work with because they're comfortable with them. So there's something to that. But no, I don't think Rivera is saying that Kyle Allen is the going to lead the team to the promised land. But I think he's just thinks that Haskins he's made the same mistakes over and over again, which again is not surprising. He started 7 games last year, 4 games, so he started 11 games. He hasn't started the equivalent of a full season yet. Did he only have 1 full season at Ohio State, or 1.5? Yeah. Something like that. So he hasn't played a lot of football. So none of these things are surprising, but again, it's the bottom line, I guess, for Rivera. They have a chance to do something in the division. So he decided to make the decision. So if it backfires, then it's all on him. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't, it's all on him, that he's the boss, and he made the right decision. If it works out, we'll see.
We will definitely see, because I wonder if Daniel Snyder is going to have an eye on Ron Rivera and have just as short of a leash to say, hey, look, man, I brought you in here to change. And, the division is bad and you aren't winning. Kyle Allen's not winning. Alex Smith, that's the only, I guess Kyle Allen would have to either play poorly or get injured for us to see Alex Smith. But that would be the one beautiful story for this team, to see him come back from that devastating injury. Let's switch to the NFL as a whole. What are your chances of do you see the NFL being able to finish a full season, that some teams may have to shut down completely if these COVID tests keep spreading?
I will preface this answer with the fact that I've been wrong on everything with sports and COVID. I didn't think the NBA or NHL or baseball or football, any of them would play or finish their season. Clearly, the NBA and the NHL came up with a masterful bubble plan. It worked to perfection, or almost to perfection. I mean, really amazing what they did. Baseball looked like it was not going to happen, with the Marlins positive cases early, and the Nats had a couple of false positives. So that didn't look like it's working. But, here we are, and they're in the playoffs. Football was the one that clearly is the toughest one, because the amount of people, because of the once-a-week games, because of the contact. So I didn't think the NFL was going to happen, but clearly money prevailed, and so they're having it. But the issue with the Titans, I mean, that they're going to have to deal with that. Are they going to have to kick the Titans out of the league? I don't know. So I'm not going to predict anymore because I've been wrong. I think they'll do everything they can to make it work, and they have the money, they have the resources, they have the testing. So I guess the smart money would be that there will be a full season, but I don't know how, to be honest.
And the funny thing is, as I was thinking of asking you about, do you think the NFL could have a bubble, so to speak, similar, not like a full NBA bubble, but similar to MLB, where you've got these 4 cities where all of the teams are in these cities, LA, Texas, I'm forgetting the other cities. But the thing is, baseball's taking up the best cities now. So where could the NFL even go that they could think, hey, let's take the NFC East for an example. Let's get the Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, and Washington football team in one city, and they just kind of play each other and determine a winner and go from there. Like, I don't know how many cities are left that you could have that many hotels to have a kind of a bubble, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I guess if there's a will, there's a way, and if you have smart people in a room trying to figure it out, and the motivation is to keep the league going and to keep the money coming in, that they'll figure it out. The other leagues did, but again, football is the hardest one to figure out. So I wouldn't put it past them to figure something out. I just don't know. I just don't know how. Just don't know how.
Yeah. I just, speaking of just don't know how, I don't know how the Miami Heat can come back from down 1-3 to beat the Los Angeles Lakers and win the NBA championship. How much have you enjoyed, as you talked about being surprised they make it through the bubble in general, watching basketball in the bubble and seeing the Lakers one game away from hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy?
It's been amazing. Again, just kudos to everybody who made the bubble happen and made it work. It's really an incredible success story. In terms of the Heat, they are so good, so tough. I mean, like the Nuggets, gain so much respect for those teams and their players and their organizations, just the kind of players that they have on their teams. But it's been a joy. I'm an old school basketball guy, so give me Celtics, Lakers from the 80s, and that to me was the peak. But I got to tell you that these playoffs have been fun to see the competition and the mutual respect for teams. But the Heat, I mean, it starts with Pat Riley. I mean, the guy, this is, I think, his 17th finals as a player, as an assistant coach, as a GM, as a president. So the guy knows how to win, like Phil Jackson, like Red Auerbach. I mean, the guy wins. So he knows what kind of players. He hired Spoelstra. People gave him a hard time. You're hiring the video guy to be the head coach. The video guy is going to end up in the Hall of Fame, Eric Spoelstra. So I think he's an amazing coach. But just look at the players they have. And with their injuries, the fact that they're just still fighting. Dragic was hurt. Bam was hurt. Butler was nicked, so he didn't miss any games. Just a lot of respect. And what LeBron is about to do to take the Lakers, one of the 2 great franchises in the league, the Lakers and the Celtics, they were irrelevant for a few years. And to go from irrelevance to the NBA championship, love him or hate him, and I'm a LeBron guy, I mean, hats off. If they do it, and, they still have to win a game, it's an amazing story.
And, that's funny because the thing that makes me most sad is, on one side, I'm thinking of, well, why are the Lakers all of a sudden so good? And I shouldn't say all of a sudden, but I feel like the unsung MVP is really Rajon Rondo coming back. Like, they needed the point guard to kind of steady the ship. And that's what the Heat are missing. And Goran Dragic sitting on the bench. Like, they don't have that starting point guard. And I think that's where they really miss out. You mentioned LeBron James. You talked about the 80s Celtics and Lakers. Where do you rank LeBron James in terms of his legacy? Is he better than Jordan, Magic, go all the way back to Bill Russell?
I don't want to flip people out and say he's better than Jordan. I get mad when people say that that's not even a conversation. I think it's absolutely a conversation. If you have to pick the best ever, most people will say Jordan. I don't automatically say. I mean, Bill Russell was unbelievable.
Hmm.
Wilt Chamberlain, who only won 2 championships, he is probably one of the most underrated greats of all time. I'm a Magic Johnson guy, so there's so many great players, and it's impossible to compare eras. Clearly, he is the king of now. 10 NBA Finals, that's absurd. 9 of the last 10. The first team that he took to the finals with Cleveland, I want people to look at that roster and try not to laugh at some of the players that he was playing with.
Yeah.
And he carried them on his back to the finals. No, they didn't win, but they basically won by getting there. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. And it mystifies me how many people don't like the guy. I get it. He left the Cleveland to go to Miami. He left Miami. They don't like this and that. But just his basketball. I mean, he's unbelievable what he's done. And if he takes the Lakers, it's the third franchise that he'll lead to a championship. So he's the king. And is he better than Jordan? I'm not going to say he's better than Jordan, but he is in the conversation for me for GOAT. Absolutely.
It's interesting, too, because you talk about Bill Russell winning all those championships, 11.
Mm-hmm.
Man, no one talks about Sam Jones. I feel like Anthony Davis, will he be an afterthought? It'll be like, oh, LeBron James brought the Lakers back, and no one talks about Sam Jones. He was a great shooting guard with the Celtics.
He was, and he was there for all but one of the championship. He was a great player, but I will say that without Bill Russell, Sam Jones is just another really, really good player and still would have been in the Hall of Fame probably, but that's like saying that, Pippen is also a great player, but if he doesn't have Jordan, he's not Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
So Bill Russell had 10 Hall of Famers on his team, so he clearly didn't do it by himself. And also, many of those years there were only 10 teams in the NBA. So if you want to nitpick, but AD is clearly a Hall of Famer. And some people, especially the LeBron haters, and there are a lot of them out there, are saying, "Well, he's the real MVP." Well, he's not the real MVP because how many MVPs did he win with New Orleans? Let me count them. Jumoke, I don't know how much time you have. No, yeah. So yes, he's an incredible player. He's a Hall of Famer, and without AD, the Lakers wouldn't be where they are. But it starts and ends with LeBron. Period. End of sentence. Full stop. So I'm just a LeBron defender. I don't know why. I think each time I see someone that just takes a shot at him, it just makes me defend him even more.
Instead of just enjoying and watching greatness,
Exactly.
that is LeBron James.
And that's a great point. We should just enjoy and forget about the arguments about who's the GOAT. I mean, he's one of the GOATs, and just enjoy it. That's a great point.
You are in a very unique position as an adjunct professor teaching journalism at the University of Maryland, your alma mater. But the burning question I have for you is, how do you teach journalism these days? How are you going to tell the next generation of journalists, hey, yeah, you're never possibly ever going to be in a locker room. You're never going to be close to an athlete ever again.
Yeah.
And you've got to build a relationship using Zoom and a phone and Twitter and DMs. And that's it. That's how you're going to get your scoops and do stories.
Well, the answer to that is I'm as honest as I can be with folks. I mean, things are different now. I'm hoping that things change in a few months, in a year, but who knows? But humans have adapted ever since there have been humans on the earth. So I think humans adapt well. And so, and these youngsters are so smart, and they'll figure it out. So I have no doubt, I have every confidence in their ability to figure that out and to also figure out the political situation. These are our future leaders. So I have no doubt that they'll figure out, but no question, it is different. We had Scott Van Pelt join the class last night. So
that's
that was
awesome.
Great.
Oh, wow.
He was telling it like it is, which I really appreciate. Everybody knows he's a Maryland grad, and he loves Maryland, and he never says no when there's a chance to talk to the Maryland students. And so he was telling it like it is. He wasn't painting a rosy picture. It is a tough world out there, not just for sports TV and sports journalism, but for everything. So we will figure it out, and that's my job to be optimistic, but not blindly optimistic. To also, to be real with them, and
Yeah.
that's what we try to do.
Your Rolodex is amazing, so to speak. And
Well,
I'm
got
glad I
Jumoke
have you
Davis
in my Rolodex.
So absolutely.
Do you see, this is the Props Network. We do get into betting. I feel like this is also a new shift, at least in American sports, to accept and make betting a part of
Absolutely.
the sport and what we do. Do you see that shift being positive for sports in general? Does it make you more interested in games, maybe teams that you wouldn't necessarily be following? Like, I feel like it could generate more interest in it.
Well, those are kind of two different questions. It definitely generates more interest because now people who don't really care about a team or result now care about it. And speaking of Scott Van Pelt, he started this segment a few years ago called Bad Beats.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason why it's popular, because a lot of people out there are betting, and it's become one of his most popular segments. I personally don't bet. I will tell you, I made one bet this year, and I'll tell you how successful I am. The U.S. Open, I was really feeling good about Phil Mickelson, 50 years old, needed to win the U.S. Open to complete the career Grand Slam. He was playing well. He had just won a Champions Tour event. I know my golf, Jumoke. I'm a golf expert. The odds on Phil were like 80 to 1. I said, all right, I'm putting $10 on Phil. I call a friend who's got, connections, and I don't even know how to bet. And Phil didn't make the cut. So that should tell you what I know about sports and what I know about gambling. And so I'm 0 for 1 this year, and that's it for me. But to answer your question, yeah, gambling, it's wild how it used to be verboten for some, and now you see DraftKings are sponsoring, on big networks, and everybody's got some kind of gambling element. So it's definitely a bigger part, and it's bringing in money and bringing in interest. So from that respect, it's good, But for me personally, it doesn't really affect it. It's just fun to see who mentions, like when Al Michaels mentions the point spread in a kind of coded way. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so we'll get you out of here on this last question. Who do you have? You're taking the Lakers minus 7.5, or you taking the Heat?
Okay, so the Lakers are favored by 7.5 tonight.
Yeah. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock.
I don't know that they have okay, this will be wrong, so whatever I say, go the opposite. I don't know that they have the killer instinct, so I would definitely take the Heat because they will not die. They will not give up. So I'm taking the Heat, which means go the opposite.
Wow. Okay, so the Lakers will be hoisting the trophy, and they will win their 17th NBA championship.
Yes, they will.
That's amazing. History. Yes. You'll be watching history tomorrow night. Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Jumoke.
All right, you take care.
All right.
I love the 2002 NCAA National Championship banner behind him as well. University of Maryland. You got to believe it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the show today. I really enjoyed having Hayley on. Of course, I want to thank her for giving me some time all the way from Japan. I want to thank Joe Yasharoff for coming on the show. I hope you learned something. You enjoyed. Are you not entertained? I hope you are entertained by Just for Sport here on the Props Network. Thank you very much for watching our live stream on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. And if you're listening to this as a podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, whatever the case may be, thank you very much. Appreciate the support, and leave your review. Speaking of sports that you don't know anything about, as I end the show here, the Indian Premier League. How about that? Have you been paying attention? Probably not. My Mumbai Indians. The Mumbai Indians are getting ready to play another game, but it's weird looking at their social media and what they do and putting out their training videos and where they're going to be playing and opening up their new arena. The Mumbai Indians. So I'm not going to get into sports per se and talking about them because I don't want to bore you. But do you know they have 5.8 million followers? Yeah, that's cricket. That's cricket. That's insane. That's more than several NFL franchises have as followers. That's a big deal. This show is a big deal. And I'm ending it right now. Hope you enjoyed, everybody. Ciao for now.